I'm going to tell you guys a story about one of the weirdest ghost hunts I ever went on. Also, I'm wrapped in a blanket because I'm freezing to death. We got an email on the investigative website, somebody claiming to have captured an EVP in their home as well as having a lot of really heightened paranormal activity. She lived in Western Kentucky. She lived in a townhouse apartment, and she wanted someone to come and investigate because she said she just couldn't stand it anymore. It was insufferable, and she needed someone to come get rid of the ghosts. Woman who owned the team, she told me about it, and I was like, all right, awesome, road trip. We're going to Western Kentucky, and we're gonna do an investigation. She's like, well, she says, I don't know how this investigation's gonna go because it's kind of weird already. And I was like, what do you mean it's weird already? And she says, let me send you this EVP. So she sends me the EVP, and it was a woman's voice saying, there is no God. So apparently this woman was a big fan of ghost hunting shows, and she had, along with some friends, attempted to perform her own ghost hunt in her own home, which is a big no-no. And she captured this EVP, but this didn't sound like an EVP. It actually sounded way too clear, and it sounded like whoever spoke these words was right beside of the microphone on the recorder, which is usually a good indicator that it's not a ghost. Some of her claims were a little bit crazy, but we decided we were going to go ahead and make the trip and do the investigation. So 4 of us, I think it was, went to Western Kentucky. We got there on a weekend night. It was pretty late by the time we got there. And as soon as we got there and talked to the homeowner, I was like, oh my God, the voice on the EVP was her. Her voice was unmistakable. Why did she tell us that it was a ghost if it was her voice? And very obviously her voice. You remember that show, Adam Ruins Everything? Okay, well, in the paranormal world, I ruin everything because I'm the ultimate skeptic. I had to get rid of that filter. It was eating my makeup for some reason. So I was kind of pissed about this whole thing. I guess a nice way of saying it is she was jerking our leg. At least that's what we thought at this point. We'd come all that way. There was really no sense in stopping, turning around, going back in the middle of the night. So we thought, what the hell, we'll go ahead and do the investigation. There was a ton of ridiculous stuff happened on this particular night that I don't really have time to go into detail about, but it was a shit show. We started performing the investigation, and the first place, or one of the first places that I went to, was on the staircase. I sat down at the top of the stairs. I had my voice recorder for audio, and I had headphones on so that I could listen to what the recorder was capturing in real time. This was the main hallway, so at the very end of this hall was a bathroom, and we had equipment set up in there, but we also had equipment up in the crawl space above this bathroom. Reason being was that she had claimed there was some type of activity happened up there pretty frequently, so we wanted to make sure that end of the hall was covered. I was the only person upstairs at this point. While I was sitting on the stairs, listening through the headphones, there was a female voice said the word move, almost like it was right in my ear. There was no one anywhere around me at the time that this happened, and the voice sounded very urgent, and it sounded just like the homeowner. So this kind of changed the game a little bit, and we started taking the investigation a little more seriously at this point. At this point, we stopped the investigation, and we started going through all of the equipment to see if we captured this audio on recording, because sometimes you don't. The funny thing was, my recorder did not capture this voice, even though that's the recorder I heard it through. The bathroom recorder did not capture this voice, but the recorder that was up in the crawl space above the bathroom captured the voice, and it's the only one in the house that captured it, even though it was nowhere nearby. It's also worth noting here that we had a camera in that bathroom that wouldn't hold a charge, so it was plugged into the wall, and it was going dead constantly plugged into the wall. I had been on a debunking spree from the time the investigation started, probably to the point where I was borderline being rude because, we kind of thought this woman had lied to us. And then the EVP happened, and we all freak out, and we end up moving upstairs, all of us, to kind of follow the activity. We were up there for quite a while, and there wasn't a whole lot of anything happened. There were some little things, some minor things, but nothing significant. So after a while, we decided we were going to take a break and regroup. So we all line up, we're going down the stairs, and the team manager is in the very front of the little train that we have going, and I'm right behind her. So keep in mind, I can see her at this point as we're going down the stairs. She's directly in front of me. And all of a sudden, she falls. But it's not just like a trip and fall. It kind of looked violent. It looked like there was some force behind this fall. Long story short, we all end up, just the team, not the homeowner, but all of us end up going into a bathroom to have a conversation about this trip and fall situation. And she tells us, I did not trip, I was pushed down the stairs. She then proceeds to pull her shirt up and show us her back. Her bra was actually torn. And on her back, on her skin, were claw marks. And swearing up and down, I didn't fall, I was pushed, I felt a hand, something pushed me down the stairs. We had been there for quite some time by this point in the night, so because of what happened and because of the way that the team manager or owner of the team, whatever you want to call her, was feeling, we decided to just pack it up and leave because she was pretty well convinced that there was something really horrible going on there, and I could probably elaborate on that a little bit, but I don't really have time. So if you guys want to know anything about this investigation, there's actually a lot of other stuff I could tell you about it, but I didn't want to make a whole other 4-part. And incidentally, this was pretty much my first experience with a ghost physically interacting with a person. Up until this point, I did not know that that was even possible. In fact, I believe that it wasn't until this particular investigation. So it was a crazy night. It was a crazy investigation. Hope you enjoyed the story, and I hope you will stick around for more spooky content.